What is going on, Movie Meals? Movie Meals, here we are. I apologize off the bat. I'm going to be coughing. I can't shake this freaking cough. I can't shake being sick. I'm going to do my best to get out of the way of the mic
It's so gross.
and fix it in post, but I'm trying. I every day I'm teaching. It's just coughing through everything. Half the time my ears are plugged up. You know when you get sick and your ears are all plugged up, you can't hear anything. I feel like an old man. I'm just constantly doing dad coughs that are just violent and loud, and I can't hear a dang thing. And I'm over it. I literally just feel like my father. Thank you to the Movie Meal patrons, Kimberly and Karen. Go get some merch, guys. We're gonna give out a hoodie like this, extremely comfortable, to a fan who's been commenting, supporting all the videos, liking, sharing us around. Once we get to 2,000, help us get to that 2,000 mark. We really appreciate it. And some people have been doing it, so please be one of those.
The real ones.
Yeah. So let's get into it. Kyle, you got the docket here. What are we starting with? There it goes.
Oh God, the poor ancient elderly man. He nearly fell coughing. Poor guy. How about we start off with this news? Creed 4 might be happening. They're going to put it into development, and Michael B. Jordan looks back to be directing this thing. Good for him. I thought his direction in the third one was pretty good, considering it was his first time.
Loved all the anime references, absolutely.
Yeah, he put his own flourishes into the movie, that's for sure. I just wonder where the story would even take itself next. I mean, in terms of where the character's at in the third movie, he's basically in retirement now, and he just had that one final fight in him. He had a family. He's doing his own thing, like post-boxing career. So Creed 4, does it become like Creed 1 where there's some new guy and he trains that guy and we do it all over again? Is that where we're heading here?
There's plenty of villains in the Creed franchise that could be having, or in the Rocky franchise that have been having some kids that he could go up against. I think if they're going to do this, they need to fix the issues on why Sly wasn't in the third one. I think Sly needs to return. I would love if it was, the first Creed might be the best of any of the Rocky movies. I think the first Rocky still might be my number one, but it's so freaking good. The second Creed, I think, is really good, but a slight step down. And then I think it continues. It's still, Creed 3 was really good. I really enjoyed it, but it's still slight step down from all these other movies. Michael B. clearly loves to make them. He clearly enjoyed directing them. They make money. So I'm totally okay with them coming in and doing this. I hope they try not to follow a super intense formula. I mean, in the other movie, it was him putting the belt back on again. He was out of it. He had retired and owned a gym. So yeah, does he train another guy? He's kind of young to be doing that. But
even in the third one, he was pretty young. Like, I know boxing is not like the longest of careers, but I don't know. It's just funny when you think about it in like real life terms, I suppose.
Yeah. So I don't know where they go from here. If they bring Damien back, if they bring that character and bring what's his face back. I say Creed, get out of the Rocky franchise. Take some from the Karate Kid. Go to like the origins of boxing. Like go find where it comes from. Go overseas or something, and go like on this spiritual journey, life of death. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's what I want. Maybe I just need to rewatch Karate Kid 2. That's all I'm thinking about.
Yeah, just go rewatch Karate Kid 2.
like that would be kind of cool though. Just where's the origin of? I got to learn the origins of boxing. He goes to some, I don't even know where boxing comes from, but that might be a kind of fun little idea here.
Creed 4, Rocky or Robert De Niro, Raging Bull crossover. How about that?
This says boxing is a combat sport and martial art which originated, although boxing is attributed to Western boxing, which has evolved different versions all over the world. I'm seeing Egypt. Boxing is from Egypt and Sumer, I think is how you say that. That would be awesome. Let's go to Egypt. Let's go to the origins. Go into the pharaohs. We'll go box in the pyramids. That sounds like a Rocky thing. It's either that or in space. We box in space or we're boxing with the mummies. That's what I think.
I think you're just taking the formula of Fast and Furious now.
Absolutely. And Fast and Furious. Okay, I told Kyle not to let me ramble, but I'm going to go on.
Just one little ramble.
I saw a video the other day and it said the Fast and Furious just ripped off the Air Bud franchise, and they went through and showed like what all the buddies are doing these days and how they go
They
to
haven't met
space and
Santa
everything. And
yet.
I love it. Air Bud might be the greatest franchise that's ever existed. Let's be honest.
Yeah, fight me.
Anyway,
poor man.
let's move on. Creed sounds cool. Let me see a trailer.
Yeah. Did you also hear that Caitlin Dever is up for a role in The Last of Us Season 2?
Yeah, I haven't played The Last of Us games, but she is fantastic. I love her as an actress.
Yeah.
She's great in Booksmart. She has a couple shows. I think she had a show on Apple, I think is what it was. I don't remember the name of it, but it was. I remember watching it, really
Last
digging
Man
it.
Standing. Incredible show.
No.
Yes.
No. Oh,
yes.
God. I think she would be an excellent addition. I've heard a little bit about what the role would be and kind of the aspects and relationships that she would have with Ellie, and I think that would be awesome. Bella Ramsey's great in the role. I'm here. I fully support this. Yeah. What do you think?
Yeah, it's kind of cool, especially when you hear that Caitlin Dever was up for the role of Ellie herself. So kind of cool that she could be coming back just in a different role, but just coming back to it at the same time. And it will be a good gig for her too. Like you said, she's been in TV for a long time and she's been killing it within there. Me personally, I would just love to see her in more movies because I think she's just that good. But a role's a role, so good for her for getting something, especially that has a lot of eyes on it in The Last of Us. And it's not a character that I know, but then again, I don't. I haven't played the games, and I just don't know anything about the character. But I just like her for the role. And of course, online you see some people complaining that I guess the character is supposed to be like beefier, and she's not like.
Can she put on muscle first, you guys? If she gets the role,
give her a minute.
Give her the months to train. My goodness, she's skinny. It doesn't fit the character.
There's no way you can change your weight and body mass.
She's incredibly talented. It's ridiculous. People suck.
Yeah, people do suck. So we're happy for her here on this channel. So that was just a nice piece of news. And then, well, okay, how about this? Thor 5, Taika Waititi or I don't know, I think he was interviewed just off the cuff, and he hinted that it seems like Thor 5 is going to be done without him, but he also mentioned that his Star Wars movie is still being written by him, and he made a joke that it's going to make Star Wars fans mad, which at least he knows what the Star Wars fans are like nowadays.
But it's not news. We talked about this on one of the earlier podcasts already. That's not news. He said that a couple times. So if people were acting like that was, I can't believe Taika Waititi said that. What's that? Why? How dare he? Did you not pay attention when he did that 7 months ago?
Clearly I didn't.
We talked about it on here.
I know.
I saw a video talking about Taika Waititi that I thought was really interesting the other day. And they were saying that Taika really went from the golden boy to just so hated. And they brought up that a big reason why was his press tour for Thor 4. And they showed some clips, and I wasn't paying attention, I guess, to some of that press tour because he was kind of being a little bit of like a little bit of an ass. Like he wasn't being the nicest in a lot of those interviews, and he kind of like it didn't feel his humor. Because I've seen plenty of interviews with him, and maybe he's just done. Maybe he didn't like some of the things that Kevin Feige, maybe, I don't know. Taika, here's a question, Kyle. Are you going to see his movie that comes out this weekend? Or just came out? Next Goal Wins?
Yes.
Or whatever?
I'm planning on it, but it's also a really packed Thanksgiving weekend.
And it's the bottom of your list, isn't it?
Yeah. There's
the
like
bottom of
Napoleon
mine.
and Saltburn. I still have to see Holdovers, so it's probably like fourth on my list.
Run to Holdovers. Run.
I know.
That should be top. And Thanksgiving. There will be no leftovers, Kyle.
If you say so.
I've heard it's awesome. I heard it's just a great time for a horror movie. Good. I'm seeing that. Yeah. I have
people like it.
Being a teacher does come with its perks, which it should, and it should come with more, to be honest. Come into my room. Come into my room for a day and tell me I don't deserve the summer off and these vacations. But I have Wednesday off, and I think I'm going to go see Thanksgiving or maybe Next Goal Wins. Is the title, right? Isn't it Next Goal Wins?
Yep, you got it.
I might go see one of those by myself if Autumn doesn't want to see them, but we'll see. I also might want to just sit and play 15 games of Madden, get a good 3 years ahead in the old franchise.
You're doing it right.
Yeah. But anyway,
a lot
back
of
to
people
Taika.
just clicked off her show.
That
Ugh.
doesn't Taika making a bad movie is not helping. Well, assuming it's bad. I obviously haven't seen it. I need to see it, but it's not
wins?
it's not getting the biggest praise. I've heard quite a few negative things. I'm curious to see it, but the negative praise has pushed it to the bottom of my list when I think 2 years ago a Taika Waititi movie would have been one of the ones I run to first.
Sure.
Even over a Ridley Scott epic, even though Napoleon looks awesome. But I don't know. Taika, I want to see Taika go back and do these type of movies like A Next Goal Wins, a What We Do in the Shadows, continue to make these shows. I know his show, Our Flag Means Death, season 2 is already over. It came out a while ago. And for some reason, our entire crew of people that Kyle and I associate with all the time, we all were super big on season 1. We were watching it, and then no one said they've seen season 2. It's been a bit, and I've heard season 2 is really good. It's just on my list, but I didn't rush to it because people in my circle weren't like, you got to watch it like they were with season 1. So he's made some amazing things. He has way more hits than misses. And it's not the end of the world when a director misses. Look at Ridley Scott, who's coming out with an epic that looks awesome, but he went like on a 10-year stretch where he just missed. And then he came out with The Martian, and everyone was like, oh, wow, Ridley Scott back. This is amazing. And then he came out with like a bad alien movie after that. Like, it happens.
Ebbs and flows. That's
if
for sure.
Taika is continuing to do Star Wars, with Star Wars, I don't believe it till I see it. Like, I need to see a trailer.
Screen, I won't believe it.
Yeah, I need to see a trailer and a release date. And even then, like, Star Wars has just had such an issue. And Star Wars has taken a nice long break like they should, just like Marvel. So him not coming back for Thor 5, if they're doing a Thor 5, is a smart decision. It's time to move off.
For his career.
It's time for him. It's time for Marvel. Marvel's in a weird spot. I don't think going back to Taika is the way to do it. Do what you did with Taika to fix Thor. Bring in a fresh, new, young director and give them the full reins, which they did. They need to do that. That's what Marvel needs to go back and do. But anyway, your thought. Any other thoughts you have?
Well, talking about like Taika's downfall makes me think about what a YouTuber, he's Patrick H. Willems. I don't know if you watch his stuff, Alex, but
maybe
he has terrific stuff. If you haven't watched it, viewers out there, go check out his work because he's great. But he did.
Who is it? William H. What?
Patrick H. Willems.
Oh, Patrick. Okay.
Yeah, really seems like a really great guy. Makes great videos. But he had one of
I've
his
seen
viewers.
Some of his videos. He is really good. His essays are really good.
Yeah, he's really good at them. That's for sure. Anyway, he had a viewer ask him about like the downfall of Taika, like what caused it to happen. It's something along those lines. And I think he articulated best when he like gave perspective on his career. Like he became the guy because of the 1-2 punch of Thor Ragnarok doing so well, winning an Oscar, and then it just felt like he just fed into that like success, which was able to give him like such great legwork to be able to do all these shows, all these different movies, being a producer on so many things. But at the same time, he also like was hosting award shows, and he had cameos in other blockbuster movies like Suicide Squad and Free Guy. Like I think and he made the point of like, it could be so easy for anyone to kind of like lose sight of themselves and just feed into like all the praise that's going on towards them, even if you don't mean to do it. And I just always went by that logic after hearing that from him when it comes to Taika. And I think Taika's kind of realized that himself after Thor 4. I think maybe it was in the same interview, but he did mention that he is thinking about going back to more smaller scale stuff, which is about in line with what you were just saying, Al. So I hope he does do that. I hope that people remember how good of a director he is, because I do think he's great. But I just think it's one of those things that happens with many other creators when they, get that success that they have, and then they just kind of lose their way. I mean, M. Night Shyamalan was once hailed as like the next Spielberg, and then
that was all Time Magazine's fault. They
even still, though, if Time Magazine is saying that about you, I also would be like, I'm pretty cool. Like I can do no wrong. And then, he had that poor string of movies there in the 2000s. So It can happen to anyone. I don't fault
Within
Taika for that, but maybe he's learned that lesson.
within 3 years, Taika made Hunt for the Wilder People, Thor Ragnarok, Jojo Rabbit, Mandalorian. He worked on the first season of Mandalorian, was acting in it. Like, that's a heck of a run. Like, he made a lot of really good things so fast, he became the golden boy. And
everyone loved his comedy.
In Hollywood, it is what have you done for me lately? And he made one stinker Thor movie, and then everyone turns on him. He's a great director. I'm a little tired of the shtick he brings to Marvel. I loved it in Thor. I didn't love the way he ended up making the villain in Thor 5 and kind of making Thor goes from the style of humor in the first Thors is him being like, I'm not from this world. I'm kind of like the dumb out of world guy. Then it turns into more of a version of that with more quips and some sarcasm. And that worked. But then in Thor 5, it gets a little too over the top. And I think it's the same problem with Guardians 2. It became everybody's got a joke and everybody needs to have a joke. And it's like, give us a break from having a joke constantly. And it just didn't off play very well with the villain, and then the villain's ruined. But he is still making great stuff. He's writing for so many things that are very popular. The What We Do in the Shadows show is incredibly popular. I haven't checked it out. It's on my list. But like, there's just so much he's done right. I want to see him. And I still am excited for a Star Wars movie. I think a Star Wars movie that'll annoy deep cut fans sounds great. I think that is fresh and something we need. I hope he does something. He also needs to learn how to mold his style into something else. That takes some directors some time. It took Guy Ritchie a little bit to kind of figure that out, where you can have your style and still change it up a little bit to fit what you're making. And I think he just needs to work on that and just do what he is passionate about. Like, that's what matters more. And just enjoy being married to Rita Ora. Like, what are we talking about here? Go have a good time, Taika. Go enjoy being married and just enjoy. I mean, he's working on her music videos right now. He's sitting there. He's like, maybe I'm writing a Star Wars movie. Great. Like, all that sounds great. I am curious about Next Goal Wins. I'm not as hyped for it as I would have been, but yeah.
All right.
Moving on.
Do we want to talk about, well, who am I kidding? Of course we want to talk about it. Pedro Pascal, Mr. Fantastic. He is confirmed. He signed that deal. Everything's all done with. He's Mr. Fantastic. Is that correct, Alex?
No.
It's a done deal.
No. And this annoys me. And
go on.
And I could not handle how you were acting. You're the guy that's I don't fall for this stuff. You're like, I believe it when I see it. You don't get to pick and choose when you do that, pal. Okay?
I don't think I was saying it was a done deal. It's just
you literally did. Let's pull out the receipts. I'm just playing with you. I am a little annoyed that everyone is running with it's done, because this happened before the strike with Adam Driver. It was done. Mm-hmm. That's what everyone was saying. Adam Driver's our new Margot Robbie, Adam Driver, their cast. Boom, here you go. They're done. They're in final negotiations, final talks. Disney has not confirmed it. He is in final negotiations. A lot of really respected people are saying, my sources say that this is a done deal, that it will be Pedro Pascal. I think, I don't know why we're running so crazy with it's done. I think it still needs to be taken as he's in final negotiations. That's the truth. He's in talks. He's in negotiations to do it. I think Pedro is a great choice for Reed Richards. I think he will be great. He's clearly a golden boy right now in Hollywood. He plays a dad very well, and I do think they are going to make, if they're going with Pedro, I think we are going to get a Fantastic Four where Reed and Sue are already married together and have children. And I think they want their children to be a part of the Young Avengers crew. That looks like is going to actually happen. We are going to get a Young Avengers movie. It looks like that is on the docket. So I think that is great. I think Pedro is great. Honestly, I am more hyped for the rumor that it's going to be Vanessa Kirby as Sue Storm. I think that is an excellent choice. I love Vanessa Kirby. I didn't finish The Crown. I liked The Crown, but I loved her in The Crown. I loved all the actors. Claire Foy and all them those seasons, but she's great in Mission Impossible. I adore Vanessa Kirby. I think our boy Cousin for The Thing is an awesome choice. If that is going to end up being him, I also remember
it ends up being him.
It was rumored it might be Daveed Diggs for a while, and it was also
remember
and
that
both those excellent choices. I think Cousin would be great. I finally saw the No Hard Feelings. Was so happy he was in that, because he is really talented. And then the rumor is it might be for Johnny. It might be why can't I think of his name from After Sun? I'm just drawing a blank right now.
After Sun. You're
Paul Mescal. Paul Mescal. Yeah. He has been rumored that it'll be him.
Yeah, he has.
And then now it's changed.
There's a Stranger Things guy that was also rumored.
Now it's strange. It's supposed to be the guy that plays Eddie. It was supposed to be from, doing that. So, yeah. Anyway, I think all those would be great choices. I think they're all excellent. I would like this to get finished. I think we need to sign somebody here. Pedro would be great. Pedro's a great guy. The rumor of all these actors turning the role down because it's Sue Storm led, I think is all rumors from bad websites that also write hit pieces about the Marvels because it's involving women. So I don't know if we take that into stock. The Fantastic Four being mostly about Sue, sure. It's a movie called The Fantastic Four. It's going to mostly focus on probably Reed and Sue. The other two do. All the other four we have mostly focus on them. I think that's all good. And there's rumors that is it Mads Mikkelsen? It's one of the Mikkelsen boys is rumored to be in talks for Doctor Doom. That's also a rumor going around.
Yeah, I saw that from John Campea, who doesn't do that very often. He doesn't Is
he the one who originally broke it? I didn't see it off of him.
I thought it was off of him. Maybe I'm thinking of something else. I don't know. I'll double check that, I guess.
A Mikkelsen guy would be great. He's also a little older than what I think fans were kind of thinking, because Henry Cavill was linked before the strike for a while that it might be him. But
it's kind of funny though, because I mean, we've seen Marvel reuse actors for their stuff before, but this is two villain roles, even though Doctor Strange isn't the most memorable of movies or roles for Mads.
I think it's the other Mikkelsen boy that was rumored.
You think that's what they meant? I thought I read Mads.
Let me triple check. You talk about your thoughts. I rambled.
But yeah, Alex, you are right. While there are more reliable publications saying or making the headlines saying he is cast as Mr. Fantastic, the wording within the articles is saying he is making sure that his work schedule is able to make it happen when it comes to filming the Fantastic Four, and that it's not necessarily a done deal. But it just seems because of the strike ending and this being a big headline that can be appealing for a lot of people, a lot of publications could have decided it was reliable enough of information to go off of it and make the news. But you are right. Before the strikes and even during it, we've been seeing a lot of names being thrown around for this casting call when it comes to Fantastic Four. So it's possible this could not happen. So until we hear something that's saying Marvel has signed him, he will be Mr. Fantastic, maybe just take it with a little bit of grain of salt. But it just seems like this has a little bit more legitimacy, at least based on what they're saying. I don't know. I could buy that this does end up happening, at least in my head.
What I'm seeing is that John Roca and John Campea on their respected channels have talked about how they're hearing that John said Mads Mikkelsen has been offered the role, and yes, it is Mads from Doctor Strange, the first one, that he has been offered the role. But then it looks like on the Hot Mic, which is a good podcast, I like John Roca a lot, he has said that it's also rumored that Ralph Fiennes and Jason Clarke have been offered the roles or have been in talks and being considered. I think if Mads Mikkelsen is true, I think then it is very much guaranteed that the Fantastic Four is not going to be from our MCU 616 universe, and that they will either be brought into the MCU by a different universe and stay, or we are going to follow them from a different universe, and we are just now going to be able to jump between, or they will show up just to help in a Deadpool Avengers movie, and then those movies will follow in their own universe. That would be my guess. Because I had the same issue with them going after Jake Gyllenhaal. I think there are so many talented people that I don't want to keep reusing the same guys. I mean, Mads is a great talent. I would be happy with Mads as Doctor Doom. I think he's a great actor. I think he can pull off Doctor Doom.
We know
I actually like Jason Clarke the most of those three names. We've seen.
I actually think he'd make a good thing too.
He would make a good thing, but he would also. He can get crazy. I like him as Doctor Doom. He could get wild.
And I think that would probably be better for him. Like, after seeing him in Oppenheimer, I don't want him to be like the straight man roles, which he can do, obviously. But like, I don't know, him in Oppenheimer, where he's just a little conniving and scheming.
Yeah.
I don't know. It worked for me.
He's very talented. Oh, he's so good in Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. He's awesome.
Yeah.
He was such a good pick
that
for
straight
that
man
role
I was saying, which he's good in. But...
Yeah. He would be a great choice. I think all of them would be a great choice. Ralph,
they're talented.
They really are going with older. I thought they would want to have gone younger, and I think it's just because they want them to have kids, so they can do some Young Avengers stuff. But at this point, it's like you can have a 20-year-old Reed Richards in his mid-20s and Sue Storm, and they can have like younger kids, and you can have the first movie then have a kid and not. And then in a couple years when you get to a sequel, the kids are a little older. Like I don't know. But obviously Pedro would be great.
But you're kind of making a good point. This whole casting process, we've talked about this on the show before, but this whole casting process has just been odd. Like, a lot has come out about it, and it's a lot of names that are big names, but at the end of the day, I wouldn't really say anyone's like head over heels for most of this casting. I mean, yes, talented people being offered these roles, but I don't know, just something about this casting, even for Pedro, like, I like Pedro, but it doesn't like swing the needle for me in terms of my excitement. So I don't know. It's just been such an odd ordeal, it feels like.
I am actually getting a little bit annoyed at this point with the Fantastic Four casting, because it's starting to feel Spider-Man No Way Home. And it's starting to be everything. We talk about everything. Yeah. Every little rumor has to be true until it's not true, because they're all rumors. And it's annoying. Leave it alone. I said in our movie club chat the other day, or yesterday, because I'm rewatching the Hunger Games movies, that I remember when a huge debate online was who's the best archer, Katniss Everdeen, Hawkeye, or Legolas from Lord of the Rings. And
2012.
I know, I missed that. I was like, I remember when those debates were heated and people really got into it. And it was like, that is way more fun than this rumor debate problem that we have gotten. They're all talented. Look, Robert Pattinson, everyone said he can't be Batman. Everybody said that about Ben Affleck. Everybody said that about Heath Ledger. And they all prove you wrong because they're all talented. Go watch. You see Pedro Pascal in The Last of Us, and you've seen him in Game of Thrones. Go watch him in other things where he's very good and very talented. Like, he's going to do a great job. It is a little bit interesting because he's not, I think, what we thought would be cast. But especially because they were talking about like that guy from Bagley or whatever. I can't remember his first name, but like he would have been good. He's a bit younger. There was a lot of talk about all these different people, but it's just, I'm just ready for Marvel. Marvel needs to do their year off. It looks like they're going to. Looks like, I mean, the only thing in 24 is Echo at the very beginning and Deadpool at the very end. No, I was wrong. Deadpool's not at the very end. It's in the middle. I was wrong on that last week.
Summer.
It's in the summer, but that's it. And then there's nothing else in 2024, and then 2025 is massive. Push everything in 2025. You can film the movies now. You can film them now. We just don't need to see them. Spread them out. That's how you're going to make your money. That's how you're going to get back in business.
Plus,
anyway.
Plus just give more time to the VFX artists to actually make everything look good.
Can we haven't talked about this. The review for the Hunger Games will be up by the time this is up, but we've both seen Hunger Games Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes.
Yep.
I only had one real complaint with any CGI, and that movie cost half of what Miss Marvel, the Marvels cost, and what Doctor Strange and what No Way Home have cost, and Ant-Man, and it looked so much better than all those movies. But you know why? Because they're filming on real sets. They're using digital tech sparingly. You know, The Mandalorian did that in its season 1, and it looked really good. They used the volume when they needed to use it and they built sets still, they went on location still. We need to get back to that. It looks better. It looks better.
Yeah, unfortunately, the studios forget that they're making movies.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about the Shang-Chi news?
You tell me. What is the Shang-Chi? Oh
Oh,
yeah,
just
we
him
actually
leaving. Him leaving as
Destin.
Yeah.
Daniel Destin Creighton. I hope I had those names in
Yeah.
right order. Let me double check that because I don't want it because he's a really good director. I don't want to butcher his name.
I'm looking it up.
Yeah,
He is
thank
really
you.
good.
Destin
Shang-Chi and
Daniel
the Lemon.
Creighton.
Yeah.
That's his name.
Is it Destin? Not Dustin. Destin. Daniel
Destin
Creighton.
with an E.
Yep. He was supposed to do Avengers Kang Dynasty. He has been taken off the project. He has not made a lot as a director. He's made 12 things here. Let me pull him up. I know he did Short Term 12.
Fantastic
Short Term
movie.
12 is
Should
so
go check it out.
freaking good. I've heard The Glass Castle was good.
Just Mercy, I've heard good things about too.
Just Mercy, yeah, I've heard good things. Oh, I saw Just Mercy. I liked Just Mercy.
There you
I had
go.
to pull it up. Yeah, I liked that movie. That was a good movie. And I really thought Shang-Chi was great. I really liked it. I thought that was, it's one of the best MCU movies. It looks good for the most part. A little bit of the CGI at the end with the dragon and stuff might be a little funky, but looks better than anything in She-Hulk or Ant-Man.
Time has changed.
He has left doing Avengers Kang Dynasty, which is supposed to be the first one, correct? And then it's Secret Wars. But he is still going to do Shang-Chi 2. Okay. Was there anything? That's all I remember. Is there any rumor on why? Was it creative differences? What are we talking about here? Why did he
I don't remember anything that he said that made it seem like, ooh, creative differences or anything fishy. I do think I get the sense that Marvel wants to push back on Kane. I don't think they're going to go forward with that character, even if Jonathan Majors is like not guilty of all charges or innocent or whatever. I feel like they're just gonna leave the character where it's at with Loki and move on. So I imagine that maybe they're re-strategizing, and say to Destin like, hey, we know that you did really great with Shang-Chi. It's about time that we started getting progress done on there. How about you work on that? And we don't have to worry about this Avengers movie because we may just go into Secret Wars instead. Like that may be the new game plan. But
and maybe
that's just theory on my part.
I think you're right. It was either that or I think he said it and he's like, look, this movie's being pushed. I got other projects. I do want to do Shang-Chi 2, but I want to do other things too that are not, just big budget superhero movies. Yeah. So right now I'm going to focus on those and you can find another director. I mean, the movie was pushed to 2026 and you're right. Maybe they are moving off of doing Kang Dynasty. Maybe they're not. It's all rumors and speculation. There's been no confirmation of any of this. On if they aren't going to keep Jonathan Majors. I think they're probably waiting to see how his trial goes at the end of the month, and next month. But yeah. I mean, Shang-Chi was awesome. It made maybe about $100 million because it made $432 million at the worldwide box office. I don't know what it cost because Box Office Mojo doesn't tell us that anymore.
What, they don't do what they're made to do?
I know, it's weird. They haven't done it in years.
It's behind a paywall, probably.
Oh, you have to pay for Box Office Mojo now?
For a lot of it now, I think.
It says Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings budget was anywhere between $150 to $200 million. Probably closer to that $200 million budget. So yeah, it maybe made double its budget, which is it's fine. I mean, you want to make money. It made money. But it is really good. People are like, it's not good. It's great. It's a good time. I love the martial arts aspect, the homage to animes and Old Boy. That shot, it's so good. Anyway, yeah, I like him as a director, so I am bummed because I think he would have done a good job in an Avengers movie. I like seeing these guys get these opportunities. He's also just not a white male, and I prefer getting some more diversity in these director roles. It's nice, but he's still doing Shang-Chi, so I'm happy with that. What else is on the docket for today?
How about we cap things off with talking about the SAG strike? Yeah, we know that
Some wild
They said
stuff.
yes to a deal. But I have been seeing more online that as we're heading towards the actors themselves voting yes or no to like having this deal be completely done, that a lot of voice actors are coming out expressing their frustrations towards the deal itself, saying that the wording doesn't really seem like it's completely protecting them from AI, and they don't. And while they feel like the residuals and the pay and the benefits are helpful, the AI aspect of it is what's really concerning them, especially for just like other actors with voice actors, studios can probably easily just be able to convince an actor to like replicate their voice, and then they won't need to hire them ever again, and maybe the pay itself won't be as good. Again, like that part is just me like wondering what's going on, but there are many voice actors I'm just seeing online that are just or not advocating, but they're really seeming like they're not into this deal because of that. And it makes me worried that this deal wasn't really thought of with not just live action acting, but just the voice acting aspects, and that's really disappointing to hear. So I don't know, maybe in the coming days a lot more people will vote no than yes, and maybe we'll be in a tricky situation, I suppose, in terms of the industry. But I just feel bad for the voice actors, because animation is already not it's such a fickle industry, I suppose, because a lot of people still get turned off by animation, thinking it's only for kids, when that's not the case. There are many wonderful, beautiful pieces of animation that are for adults, and voice acting itself is a really terrific craft to be able to have, and a terrific talent to have. And it's not just within animation, it's also within voiceover work and like live action spaces or video games itself. So yeah, I just worry about the voice actors, and we'll just have to move forward and see what becomes of the deal itself, whether people vote more no than yes. But it's just frustrating to see that.
I want to read what you sent me, a little bit of it. So
Mm-hmm.
Kyle sent me on Instagram a post from Sarah Cravens, who you've heard her voice. She's done stuff in lots of video games, Final Fantasy remakes, Fire Emblem. She's doing anime and One Punch Man. I think she was doing silent voice. I think I saw one of her credits as, yep, silent voice, which is excellent. Lego Star Wars, the video games. You've heard her voice. I'm going to read a little bit about what she said. So forgive me here. She said, I'm going to skip the first part where she talks about how grateful she is to everybody negotiating and how hard they've been working. She goes, I am also deeply troubled that this contract did not get there on AI protections. The language provided in the summary is vague. The meetings by SAG that were supposed to inform us on our contract gains actually solidified me feeling worse about this contract. And as a working voice actor for 20 years, I fear this language is the death of me. I also pride myself on being an incredibly positive, half glass full person. And I love teaching newcomers the art of voice acting. In this contract, if this contract is ratified as is, I truly feel I cannot in good conscience teach newcomers in the industry that yes, if you work hard and be your unstoppable, authentic self, there is a place for you. With this contract, I do not see how it will be. I'm going to skip a little bit there. She continues to talk about that kind of
Let's
stuff.
see if we can post some screenshots of it as well.
Yeah.
That might be a good idea.
She's been just in this past year, I was dangerously close to losing my health insurance, but because of those types of minor roles in gamings and dubbings, I was able to barely make my health qualify for this threshold. That will no longer happen. According to the new contract, those non-leading role jobs that kept me afloat and literally made my health insurance when I didn't have a national commercial running this year, didn't have any incentive for longer lasting performers. And she goes on to continue to talk about how this isn't fair. It's going to continue to really ruin that industry, part of the industry. And this is no fault of who I'm going to talk about here, but I am going to talk about Chris Pratt because he's always in the news for his voice work. And I think it's no fault to him. It's the fault on the studios. I understand that you're going to need a big name sometimes to sell your animated movie. Big actors are voicing characters in every animated movie. There is no animated movie that isn't an anime movie, and Miyazaki gets big actors. Disregarding those, unless you're an anime movie, you are going to probably have big name actors. I mean, there's no movie I can think of that doesn't have them.
Yeah.
A lot of the times, working voice actors who only do voice work sometimes get minor parts on those big movies. Sometimes they get, you know, they tend to go more towards anime and video games, where big actors don't always. Sometimes they do crossover.
Television
but
too.
That is hurting this industry. It's no fault of Chris Pratt. I understand you're trying to sell your movie. Chris Pratt didn't sell Mario. Mario, I think, would have made $1 billion no matter who was the voice, because it's a huge, huge property. Garfield, I get a little bit more. I get Garfield a little bit more. I don't know if I would have cast him as Garfield, but I get that a little bit more. You need a bigger actor to sell your Garfield movie. You just do. But those decisions where you are having 50 big name actors do this voice work is also hurting it. And the studios are part of that problem. The studios are. But what disappoints and breaks my heart the most is that the nanny herself and all of the representatives of SAG are not fighting harder for these voice actors and not fighting harder for these AI protections. That's what it sounds like. It sounds like it's not just voice actors, but that the loopholes and some of the compromise, it sounds like, is going to hurt voice actors the most. And that is devastating, because you can be a very talented voice actor and not be a great physical actor. It's true. You can. There are people that's part of the reason there are voice actors that don't get huge chances on screen. I mean, there's a lot of factors that go into it. You need a lot of luck, but there is truth to that, And yes, Tom Hanks is a very good voice actor. He does a good job as Woody. Chris Pratt does do a very good job. Some people, you see Seth Rogen, who has been in animated movies all the time, and he's like, I don't do different voices. I don't try to do that. Why would you? You're not hiring me for that. You're hiring me to do a regular voice and to sell the movie. And it's
You're
like, okay,
for my voice, not for me to replicate another voice.
Yeah. But
or not replicate.
At that point, stop hiring Seth Rogen to be the third character, not the main character, not the main villain in your movie. It's time to start hiring other people that do such a great job. I mean, anime is huge for a reason. Those voice actors do stuff that you like, that are just incredible. Even in the dubs, there's just incredible talent. And I'm very upset that this has happened, and it makes me very scared. And these 3 years will be a big test. When these 3 years go on and this contract is ratified, and if there is a huge part of the of the masses that are like, this is not good for us, and we see the result of that, I think we could see some really another big strike here in 3 years, where the actors are like, you guys screwed us, and a bunch of us higher paying people didn't realize it, but you screwed a lot of the other people, and it's not good. So it's shame. I don't want to hear an AI voice. I don't want to hear it. It doesn't sound good. We heard it in Rogue One with not Rogue One. One of the Vader's in something that they've done more recently where it is AI. It is not James Earl Jones, where James Earl Jones said, you can take snippets of the past stuff, AI, and change up my voice. He signed something, but it doesn't sound.
Obi-Wan?
It might have been Obi-Wan. But he doesn't sound as good in that. Yeah. He at least in Rogue One, it is James Earl Jones, and he does sound older. And so you can tell, but still, at least it's him. And I would rather have that. Yeah, this is dumb. Studios, do you want to stay in business?
No.
do you want us to watch your products?
I genuinely believe, Alex. By the way, Alex,
they don't care. They see us as sheep.
You expressed everything that's wrong about this so eloquent. You did a great job. Well done. That's what I'm trying to say.
You do a great job too on the show.
I can't say words. But anyway, in terms of the studios, no, I honestly don't think studios care about making movies anymore. Like, just with the patterns of their behavior being like, oh, we're going to just inherit this studio, sell it for its parts, and then somehow make more money by selling it to another studio. It is the major studios, for sure.
A24, killing it. I actually think Lionsgate doing a great job after seeing this Hunger Games movie. They're trying. They're surviving. They needed a little Hunger Games. Go support the Hunger Games because the movie is very good.
You'll find out what I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, I just feel like they forgot they want to think like they're a tech industry so bad, which all they do is sell each other to one another when you're supposed to make movies. Like, yes, they may not always like profit, but I don't know. That's like it's so frustrating. It's art combined with business, and it's so frustrating to know when you're just so thick in the industry of like what comes first almost all the time, I imagine. But no, these studios drive me nuts. They don't care. It feels like they don't care anymore, and it's sad. So
it reminds me a lot of the quote from the late great John Schnepp, a guy Kyle and I never met, don't know, but watched every day, all the time for years on Movie Talk. Who I remember when it was first starting to be rumored that Fox was going to sell to Disney, that he said, this is not a good thing. Marvel nerds think it's a good thing because it's cool to say I want the X-Men in. And that is true. It is cool. It's going to be cool. But he says at the end of the day, what you lose are good products. Because
the
when
rest
of
the industry,
when it's only run by 3 people and there's not as much to go see, well, eventually it's going to die out. Like they're just making, you're not making good enough stuff to compete. You know what I mean? And the streaming part has been a part of it. I don't think streaming is the death of the product. I think it is a part of it. There's never going to be one whole thing that brings down the wall. It's going to be many things. And this, the streaming is part of it. I mean, Apple just released what I hear is an amazing show about Godzilla on TV in the Monsterverse. Why am I not seeing that in the theater? Granted, we are going to get a movie in that universe again that looks cool, but
is Godzilla minus? Are you talking about Godzilla -1 or the one next year?
No, the show, which premiered yesterday.
No, I know the one on Apple, but you said that we're going to see another movie in theaters that's a part of it. Are you talking
Godzilla
about...
-1 isn't a part of it. Godzilla -1 is
that's what
made
I thought,
in Japan. I want to see that. I hear it's awesome. But no, I thought they were going to do another. Aren't they doing another Kong movie? And they had that teaser, or is that the show?
No, I think you're right. There is another one next year. I was just trying to make sure which one you were referring to.
I'm referring to them both.
Right. Okay.
But like that show, make that into 2 movies and put them out. What are we doing here?
Sure. Yeah.
Like, it's just make show. I get everyone is now trying to be what HBO used to be. Okay, HBO was the king of the crop. Netflix showed up, said we can do that, and then a bunch of people were like, we can all do that, and then now nobody can do it. HBO might be the only thing that was still handling it well enough, and then Zazzy Boy was like, I'm not going to pay my actors, so we're going to cancel 15 of the best shows and write stuff off. By the way, it's really great that the Coyote movie, the Wile E. Coyote movie, is getting shopped around, and that Congress is trying to investigate on some of the shady stuff they're doing, that some people are trying to make that happen.
Once the government gets involved,
it's not going to happen. No, it's good people that are saying this is shady that are going to try to make it happen, and it's all the people in Congress that suck, that are friends with Zazzy Boy, that are going to keep it from actually happening, and they're going to get their
the investigation
write-offs.
For sure. Yeah, absolutely.
But at least it's being talked about, and at least Warner Brothers is letting them shop it. And I hope somebody buys it.
It's also just sad that a company that has a legacy, legendary animated characters like Looney Tunes doesn't know that, and they would rather give it to someone else than use it. Which is funny. Like, oh, we're going to be the business of brands. We have all these brands that we want to use. Remember that slideshow they did a year ago where they show like
Zazzy Boy was like, we're going to do
Looney Tunes was in that.
Looney Tunes is one of the biggest franchises you've ever seen.
And now he almost didn't want to release a Looney Tunes movie. Like, look, are they the hot thing now? Maybe not, but you could easily work hard to make it become like your Mickey Mouse. You know what I mean? Like, it's possible to bring things back, and then you have a brand, because you're so brand driven. If you work hard, you can make a new, but in quotes, but a new brand, even though it's old and it has legacy to it. And granted, I'm a little biased because I watch Looney Tunes Saturday mornings at like 6 a.m. And it just
You were
sucks.
A big Looney Tunes guy. No, it does suck.
And it just sucks that they don't know what they have, and they would rather just hide it away after hard work was made to it and not at least give it a chance. Even on streaming,
Because Zazzy Boy bought a company.
Sucks.
Zazzy Boy bought a company that was really struggling. They're licensing everything. Band of Brothers is on Netflix. My dad was like, I just watched Band of Brothers because it was on Netflix. Dad, you pay for Max. You've had access to Band of Brothers the whole freaking time.
No one knows where anything is. No one knows.
Well, Band of Brothers, you should know. It's been on HBO forever. It's one of the biggest shows they've ever put out. That should be known. But it's ridiculous what they're doing. Yeah. Zazzy Boy bought it and was like, HGTV is one of the biggest brands on the planet. It's like, only my mom and dad watch that. What are you talking about?
Which, fair, middle America, that's where good consumers are. Like, it's part of a good strategy, but you're working with movies and you got to do better. A lot better.
Well, clearly, because everything is struggling. Even look at Disney's Wish. It's getting not great reviews, and it's right now considered to be one of the lowest, if not the lowest tracking Disney animated movie ever. And Disney's I think it's right now debuting with its like worst score, but it's it's because it's meh, 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 and that meh is starting to turn into bad because people are tired of this bad quality content, especially when some of the biggest, best animated movies have been coming out dominating. We had Into the Spider-Verse this year, or Across Spider-Verse. It was great. We got a Miyazaki movie coming to IMAXs, and that movie, I guarantee you, is going to do banging at the box office. And it's a bummer that Disney is probably going to be the one to capitalize off it, because I think Disney is still the one who releases it in the US.
The Miyazaki one?
Yeah, they partnered with Miyazaki years ago. Way back when. They always are the American distributor of Miyazaki. But Miyazaki gets a lot of say. Well, I think it was Harvey Weinstein's company for a while. I don't know. Did Disney buy that company?
I don't know.
I know Disney's involved, and I know there's the famous
the Weinstein Company.
There's the famous story where Harvey Weinstein, the biggest loser, go die in a hole on the planet. He
not in jail.
He wanted to make a bunch of cuts to, I think, Howl's Moving Castle, and Miyazaki's buddy, like producer buddy, sent him a katana in the mail. And it just said no cuts, or we're going to come cut you down, boy. And I wish they would have.
Not to prop up Weinstein at all, but I bet he was probably like, well played. Like, he was like, that's good business. Because they're all...
Miyazaki was so like, I'm not going to... Yeah, God, he is... God. Miyazaki's... Or not Miyazaki. Miyazaki's amazing. Harvey Weinstein, you suck.
He's a treasure. Of course. So, yeah, unfortunately, we kind of ended that episode on a bit of a downer, but it's good to be vocal about this when it comes to an industry that we do love. Like, we just love, being able to watch art, but when the industry doesn't understand that, we have issues like these.
And this is why A24 saying we want to get into the big budget movie game is good. It's a good thing. You want a company that does make quality content to say, all right, guys, we're making a lot of money. Let's do a $100 million movie. We don't need to make a $500 million budgeted movie. Let's make a $100 million movie. We'll get into the big budget game, and let's see if we can put some real quality content in here and make everybody go, oh, crap. Everyone wants to see this weird Nicolas Cage big budgeted movie or something. You know what I mean? That's what I want to see. Ballads of Songbirds and Snakes was good. I really enjoyed watching it in the theater. It has some issues, but it was like, okay, great. This looks good. It is big budget. It's nice being in this world. Like, let's get back to letting original content happen, or go adapt a book that's really good. Like, let's get back to that kind of stuff here. What are we doing? We're
selling profit.
Before we end it, I asked
shareholders.
I actually wonder, the viewer, no one's going to comment on this, make it to the end, but I'm very curious.
No.
I am so interested because in Japan, they make live action versions of their animated anime shows all the time. All the time. And I wonder if in Japan, because I've never been to Japan, want to go one day. I mean, obviously big supporter of anime and their culture there and everything, but I wonder if they complain the way America complains about Disney doing it. If they're tired of these live action adaptations that they're making, or if they're not. Like if
Yeah, I
they
don't know.
really like it. I mean, clearly One Piece on Netflix hit worldwide, was so popular. And I know Netflix buys a lot of those because they are very popular. So I wonder if they don't, if they just love their stuff and they love seeing it in different forms and mediums. Uh Interesting.
I'm
It's
sure
just interesting.
I'm sure that they themselves know, like, I'm sure that even they themselves would be like, yeah, some of it isn't like highest quality, but I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and find that out.
Because similar to us, like One Piece seems like it has really good quality. Other live action animes like Dragon Ball, um, not so
Ugh.
much.
Because
Yeah.
I know in Japan they do debate if you should watch American animated animation in sub or dub. They have the same debate we have over
Oh,
here.
sure.
Like there's a huge community. Apparently, King of the Hill, huge over in Japan as like
Oh, cool.
an American product, which is really interesting.
Hmm.
Um, but there's real heavy debates. Do you watch it in the sub or the dub? Should they watch it with Japanese subtitles and in English?
Hmm.
Which is interesting. So I wonder if that debate also happens there. Anyway, all right, guys. I told Kyle we should make this a quick episode, and it was about the same length just to save my
Gotcha.
voice. But all right, guys, what do you think of today? Comment below. Let us know. Remember to like, subscribe, and share. And yeah, as Thank You Meal patrons, help us get one of these. Do all that good stuff. And as always, thanks for watching, Mom.
See you guys.